Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode, All Night Long with the Fox, syndicated on Internet Radio Dantata, as well as now broadcast on our own Night Moves with the Fox Studio.com. We are proud to tell everyone that we are now viewed worldwide in about 26 countries. I was lucky enough, and it was actually just a fluke. I'm a steady watcher of a show in Canada called The Dragon's Den, and I guess now probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was watching The Dragon's Den, and I was shocked, happily, to see a group of women come down to meet the dragons, and they were none other than 10 on the Run. And I just happened to have two of the women, one for sure that was part of the TV show, but possibly both of them. I have Amy and Nicole on tonight's show. Welcome to the show, Amy and Nicole.
Thank you.
Hello.
Okay, so can both of you tell me, I'm going to start the show off with Nicole, but can both of you tell me if you were part of the show that I saw on the Dragon's Den?
I was, Nicole.
Nicole
Amy-
was, I wasn't.
Oh, okay,
No.
okay. Okay, Nicole, can you tell me, try not to say anything bad, because I'll get my wrist slapped. How was the show with the dragons?
It was a good experience. I find it was definitely a good experience. They didn't give me any money, but it served its purpose. I got lots of promotion off of it, sold a few franchises off of it, so it definitely did its part.
Now, I have to be very, very polite here and watch what I say, but I can't help but ask you this, because I think this individual has got quite the reputation, and I'll leave it at that. What did you think of Kevin O'Leary?
Which was that, sorry?
What did you think of Kevin O'Leary?
I think he's a jerk, but I think it made the show, though.
You
I
think
think
what?
definitely. Yeah, I think he's a jerk, but it definitely made the show. He's kind of like Simon Cowell for American Idol.
Okay. This is a little bit off our topic tonight, but I don't get this opportunity to ask about the show. I've never been on it, and I probably never will be. I had an interview with a gentleman last year who was on the show. I think he was trying to get some T-shirts sold. And he told me some stories, his point of view of actually being on the show. And now I want to ask you, when you're actually there on the Dragon's Den, is it all the dragons asking you questions at the same time?
Yeah, it is actually. I've done a lot of TV shows, and this was the only one that wasn't scripted at all. So we actually really just walked down there, never met them before. They asked us questions, we answered. Of course, they edited like everyone edits their stuff, but it was the only show that I've done that wasn't at all scripted.
Wow. But you were quite happy with the result of it, and it taught you a lot. You took a lot away from it?
Yeah, their advice didn't really mean a lot to me per se, because they were telling me to open up a slot, which would totally take away from the purpose of 10 on the Run, because we go to people's houses. But in general, it was a good experience. So, I mean, I got lots of calls. The original show aired about a year and a half ago, and it's repeated a couple of times, and I still, to this day, get people recognizing us off of the show.
How long had you been with 10 on the Run prior to going on the Dragon's Den?
I started about maybe a year and a half to 2 years before I was on the show.
What inspired you to go on the Dragon's Den?
What inspired me to do the show?
Yeah.
I knew it was a good opportunity. It was a good, I knew a lot of people watch the show, a lot of different people, a lot of, all over the board watches the show, from lawyers to ghetto people to everybody watches the show. So I knew it would kind of reach everybody.
It was just a really good, easy way of getting publicity too, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Now, what inspired you to start up 10 on the Run?
Originally, I used to go to a tanning salon and get it finished, get it done, but you've got to do it with, you've got to leave there with no bra on, crappy clothing on, your hair not done. So I thought people would like it in their houses better, where they didn't have to wait in the salon for 15 minutes to dry. They could sit in their robe in their house rather than rather than be in a salon or see them or be out in public in a popular neighborhood or anything with her hair in a bun and no bra.
Now, was this a no-brainer for you, or was this something that you had to really think about and, like, you weren't too sure if it was so simple that you were crazy, or this was just kind of a, I've got to go with this, I don't know why it's never been done before, here's my opportunity?
Yeah, actually, nobody really believed in me, to tell you the truth, when I first started everything. Everyone was like, that's not going to work, that's not going to work. And it took a little bit of time, but of course, after some time with all the bad press about real sun tanning and stuff like that, it's caught on because, I mean, between myself, I'm busy all the time in the good seasons. All of the franchisees are busy as well, so it's definitely turned out to be a good business.
Now, what made you decide to do the franchise venture, to sell franchises?
Well, with myself, I used to do all the areas myself, and that became to be too much work. So it came to a point where it's either a lot of people were calling me, asking me to learn about it, and asking where do I get my equipment, where do I do this, where do I do that. So I thought if I set people up, get them going, I already know the industry in and out, then I can make sure that they do succeed in the areas that they're in and provide the ongoing help. Because there's a lot of people that start the business thinking go buy a machine and you're good to go, you're going to make a lot of money, but it is a lot of work.
Would you be able to, without taking your whole evening away from you, would you be able to give us a breakdown if I call you up and I want to come or I want you to come and I want to get a tan, what exactly do you have to do, what's involved? I have no idea.
Yeah, basically I come to your house, I use a pop-up booth, everything is contained in there. Setup time is about 5 minutes, spraying you takes about in and out of your house in about basically 25 minutes.
Wow.
10 minutes to dry, I leave, and you've got a nice tan.
That's like going for a quick grocery run.
Pardon?
That's like going for a quick grocery run.
Yeah, it's very, very fast.
How big is the pop-up tent?
4x4 and 7 feet tall.
Oh my God.
But we squeeze into really small places, hotels, little condos. We squeeze almost everywhere.
No kidding. Now, when you first thought of this, nervous as hell, I would imagine, and nobody believed in you, which make it that much tougher and that much scarier. Did it take off quicker and better than you were nervous thinking it would, or has it been a struggle?
Yeah, I wasn't really sure if it was going to take off or not. So it did take a little bit of time to get the word out because we are a mobile service, so it's not like we can advertise on the side of the street or anything. So it did take a little bit of time to pick up, but it's a lot of word of mouth, so it shows that the service is good because since people try it, it's the next they tell their friend, they tell their friend, and then here we are.
There's nothing like word of mouth, is there?
Yeah, exactly. So as long as you have a good service and a good product, then you're good to go.
Let's touch base with Amy for a second here.
Okay.
Now, you bought a franchise, Amy.
Yes, I did.
Now, what inspired you to buy a franchise?
Well, I was a client. Initially, I was a client, and they tanned me for my wedding. And I just really loved the product, and I thought it was, I love the product. I love the service. I believed in it, so I thought it was a good fit for me. Yeah, I thought it was a great idea, and I believed that it could work in the market that I bought. So
now, did you know Nicole before this, or had you known Nicole for a while in the business, and it was just a matter of time, and then you jumped in?
I didn't know Nicole before this, but I knew of her because I was a client, and then I jumped in.
Now, was it a scary venture for you?
No, not really. No. I knew that I would have to work at it, right? Like anything. And like what Nicole said, I think that's why people have a hard time competing with us, because I think they just think that they can buy an airbrush gun and then they can just go tan everybody and they're going to make $1 million, but they don't realize that there's actual work behind it, and you have to have sort of different skills and different knowledge, and you have to be good at marketing and advertising as well, because everything you do is on your own. I mean, you do have the support of being in a franchise, but still in your own market, you have to get your own name out there. So yeah, I think there's work associated with it, but I really do enjoy it. So, and I do enjoy training people. So.
Now, would you be able to tell us, I have never bought a franchise in my life. I've never had a franchise in my life. So this is all new information and detail to me as well as millions of others out there. What is involved without giving stuff away that you don't want to give away? What's involved with your franchise? What does that cover? What does it involve?
Aside from the obvious, I mean, there's fees associated with it, right? You're buying somebody's name and you're operating it in a location like a McDonald's or a Subway or any of those other franchises. It's basically, the same thing. But I would, there's contracts and fees and, certain equipment that you use. That's the same. It's kind of like McDonald's, how, you have the same hamburgers at every location, or you have the same French fries. You have the same things at each franchise. But, you do have to get, I would always recommend getting a lawyer. Because there's a lot of contracts involved in it. It's not just, sign on the dotted line and it's yours. You have to really understand what you're getting into. And like anything, I would definitely say, you need some legal advice to help you along the way and to understand. I didn't really understand a lot about franchises until I signed a contract with Nicole and I had a lawyer explain everything to me. So there's a lot involved.
No kidding.
From a legal standpoint in buying a franchise, and anybody who owns one would know that, especially the big ones. So, yeah.
Now, is there a different website or a different place to go to look for each franchise? Like, if the listeners want to find your business, Amy, where do they find you? We're
all on the same site under Contact Us.
Oh,
so
okay.
If you go to www.tanontherun.com and you hit the Contact Us tab, there's different locations, and under the location is the person's name and email, phone number and email address of who to contact for the particular area of Ontario.
Wow. Okay. Now, maybe a dumb question, but I ask everybody this. Are you guys on Twitter and Facebook as well?
Yes, we are.
What do they look for? Just under 10 on the Run or your own personal names?
10 on the Run?
Yeah, we do have 10 on the Run sites on its own. We don't do as much social marketing, as we should do. It's definitely a part we are going to get into this year. But, we do each have our own fan page under 10 on the Run.
Wow. Now, I got one more question for you, Nikki. What do you see in your future? Do you see expanding and getting a lot more franchises going, or what are your plans?
Yes, I definitely hope to have a franchise in every city across Canada. That was the original plan. So far we've been concentrating, basically more in Southern Ontario. We do have one in Malta, one in Montreal. We've trained people at West Edmonton Mall, but we definitely want to see more all the way across Canada.
Wow. Big plans, a lot going on down the road for both of you.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank...
This will not be the last time you hear of us.
That's good. Maybe I can make a follow-up show and call you guys up in a little bit and see how everything's going.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you very much,
definitely.
Amy, and thank you very much, Nikki, and all the best of luck to both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being available for the show.
No problem. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.